Stop budgeting like you're on a diet. Have you ever felt that sinking feeling when you look at your budget, restrictive, boring, and frankly, designed to make you fail? That's because the traditional budget often creates budget shame. We're going to ditch that system and create one that gives you permission to spend and actually makes you feel rich. Welcome back to Subject Simplified. You now know your why, your future goals, and your where, your current financial snapshot. Now let's build a spending system, the engine that powers your financial journey. Before we get into the systems, let's talk about the psychology of money. Why is saving so hard? Psychologists call it delayed discounting or present bias. Research shows that our brain's reward system, specifically the ventral striatum, gets a big immediate hit of dopamine from a new purchase. That's instant gratification. Saving, on the other hand, is a reward for your future self, which feels abstract. Studies, like the famous marshmallow test, showed that the ability to delay gratification is a massive predictor of long-term success. The key to a successful budget is making the future reward feel more real than the immediate spending rush. We do this with the system that makes saving automatic and spending intentional. We'll focus on two powerful systems. One, the 50-30-20 rule, and two, the zero-based budget. Let's start with the 50-30-20 rule, the simple start. This rule was popularized by U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren and her daughter, Amelia Warren Taiji, in their book, All Your Worth, The Ultimate Lifetime Money Plan. The beauty of it is its simplicity. It tells you exactly how to split your net, or take-home income, into three clear, non-negotiable categories. 50% needs, your non-negotiable expenses, rent or mortgage, minimum debt payments, groceries, utilities, car insurance. If you can't survive without it, it's here. 30% wants, your quality of life enhancers, like eating out, streaming subscriptions, new clothes, hobbies, premium coffee. These are discretionary. You can cut them if you need to. 20% savings and debt repayment. This is your future building fund, emergency savings, investment contributions, extra debt payments. Interesting fact. The 50-30-20 rule is often referred to as a macro budget. It doesn't require you to track every cup of coffee. You simply need to ensure your total spending in each category falls within the percentage. This method is incredibly effective for people who suffer from choice paralysis. They freeze up when faced with tracking dozens of line items. A top tip. In both the US and the UK, that 20% savings category should be a priority. If you have high interest debt, pay it off before you invest, but keep an initial emergency fund like $1,000 or £1,000 intact. If the 50-30-20 is a simple tool, the zero-based budget is an all-terrain vehicle. This method is famous for its simple-sounding principle. Income minus expenses must equal zero. Every pound or dollar that comes into your account is assigned a job before the month begins. ZBB didn't start with personal finance gurus. It was originally developed in the corporate world by Peter Peyer in the 1970s at Texas Instruments to help companies justify every expenditure from a zero base. It was later adopted by former Georgia governor and later U.S. President Jimmy Carter to streamline state spending. Why is it so powerful for personal finance? ZBB essentially eliminates the money fog, that mental ambiguity about where your cash is. This intentional allocation is a direct antidote to the psychological trap of loss aversion, where the pain of paying bills feels worse than the joy of saving. By naming every dollar, you are deciding the fate of your money on paper, reducing emotional impulse spending. This method requires more work. You must list every expense from rent to a haircut, but in return, you get total clarity and control. When done correctly, your bank balance might have money, but your budget should show that every penny is already spent on a bill, a fun item, or a saving goal. Now, your budget is only as good as the information you put in. To maximize either of these systems, you must leverage behavioral finance principles. Always pay yourself first. Automate your 20% or whatever your savings goal is the moment you get paid. This harnesses the power of inertia. It's harder to stop an automatic process than it is to start a manual one. Use mental accounting. This is a cognitive bias, but we can use it for good. The 50-30-20 rule is a form of mental accounting, putting money into fun and savings pots. This is why the zero-based budget is so effective. Creating specific categories like holiday fund or new car makes saving feel concrete, not abstract. Know your triggers. Be conscious of confirmation bias, only looking for evidence that justifies your spending. If you track your wants closely, you can identify spending triggers, like online shopping when stressed, and address them directly. Whether you choose the simple structure of the 50-30-20 rule or the rigorous control of the zero-based budget, the goal is the same: to transition from a feeling of scarcity to a feeling of abundance and control. Your homework for this video is simple. Calculate your next month's take-home pay, then use one of these two methods and assign a category to every single penny. In the next video, we're going from theory to reality, tracking expenses made easy. We'll cover the best apps and old-school methods to track every transaction painlessly, because a budget without tracking is just a wish list. Get ready to track your cash, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next step in your simplified financial journey.